top center block is what we're going to do first. Okay, so first I'm going to go into embroidery. But first, no, let me back up just a second. For the blocks, before we ever go into this, it's just a good habit to get into, because when you're designing a quilt, you're kind of going to know what size the block is, and you want to use the size hoop that block will fit in the best. So this is basically a 9.25 by 9.25 inch block. So the 9.5 by 9.5 was perfect. If you don't have that one, you just have to go a size up. Anyway, go up here to settings, page 7, and I want to make sure on the frame size I have my 9.5 by 9.5 inch hoop selected. I use the 1 inch grid. That helps me place my design. Don't really have to do that tonight, because you'll see why here in a moment. And something else someone asked earlier in the week, I just want to talk about this real quick. Embroidery foot height. That is the default setting, 0.06. Someone was wanting to embroidery on top of some, it was either minky or fake fur. And this is where you can go to raise the height of that embroidery foot if you have some really thick material in the hoop. Just wanted to point that out since we were right here at this screen. Okay, so my proper hoop is selected. I'm going to click select OK. Now I'm going to go to embroidery. And this design was in menu number 2. This is on the Altair. And subcategory 3. And then when we scroll down, it was design number 21. Okay. Now we'll select set. And now I want to shrink this down as far as it'll go. So I'm going to select edit and size. Hit OK. And I want to make sure that I have my stitch density adjusting wizard on. It's on, so it's going to do that. And now I'm going to shrink it as small as it'll go for this project. Oops, wrong one. See, it would only let me get, that's a good example to show you. So on this one, it does not adjust stitch density. You cannot shrink it or enlarge it as much as you can when you have the stitch density selection feature selected. So small as that will go on that one was 6.87. Now see how small it will go with stitch density selected. I already know, 4.59. So that's a huge difference. So now I have it in the size that I want it. But now I want the little pineapple, I want it to point straight up to the top. So I'm just going to select OK here. Now I'm going to go to rotate. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees to the left. Right there. And as you see, this will not go on point. So I'm going to have to use the 10 degrees. So if I just take it back to its original position, I would hit the 10 degrees. So this is 45 degrees, in case you don't realize that. So just hit the 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 40 degrees. Still needs to go 5 more, so we'll use the 1 degree marker and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now all of the 4 red dots in the corner will line up on those center crosshairs perfectly. And that's how you know you have it in shape. That is perfectly centered. That is where we want it for this one. Excuse me while I get a drink of Diet Coke. Okay. So next, I'm going to select OK. And the next thing I want to do, I want to put my outline box around it so I can go into IQ and add quilting. So I'm going to select my outline box. But first, since I know I've got to do this same thing, pull in the same shape 3 more times for the 3 other blocks, I'm going to save this to my machine. I just saved it to the Altair. Memory, sewing machine. Now I'm going to add my outline box. And it will not save that. That's why I had to stop there and do it that way. So the number up here I've been using all along is 0.028. And that's what I'm going to set this for. Because I've used it all the way through this project and I want it to remain consistent. Okay, 0.028. Memory. Now just send it into the stamp pattern icon menu in IQ Designer and select OK. Now we're all set. Now we're going to select Add because we're going to add some IQ quilting to it. Okay, there's the Add button. Now we're here, we're going to just select IQ Designer and we're in IQ Designer. So the next important step, and this has to be done in order, we're going to select the stamp and pattern, and then we're going to select our hoop size again. This will set the boundaries in IQ Designer for the hoop that we're going to use in embroidery. Okay. Once again, I'm using 9.5 by 9.5. Okay. And you know it's correct when you see a red box on the screen. That's how you know that that has been selected and translated into this screen. So next we are going to hit the stamp pattern icon. We're going to select the outline icon. And here's the one that I just sent right here. Okay, and then OK. There it is. I don't have to move it or do anything. So next we are going to add, our circle to use as a boundary. So what I'm going to do, once again, back to the stamp pattern and the circle right here. And OK. Now it's not big enough, so it's actually touching my outline right here. So I'm going to hit size, and the number I used is 7.25, 7.25. You can use any number you want, but they have to be exactly the same for each one of the blocks. 7.25 looked really good to me. That's what I'm going to use. So this will enlarge it from all 4 corners right here. And 7.28, we'll go down 3 more of those numbers. It's better just to tap because it'll move fast. And there it is, 7.25 by 7.25. Now I have a nice circle there around my outline. I'm going to select OK. We'll set the stitches for that outline in just a little bit. Excuse me. So next we're going to put in our quilting fills, and I'm going to go ahead and turn my fill bucket on. Then we'll select the Regent fill menu properties. I'm going to select the quilting designs and then select this. And I'm going to use the same fill patterns I used in the center block, the angel block. First I'm going to use number 1. Hit OK, and OK. Doesn't matter what these colors are. And this one, I'm going to touch it between the circle and our embroidery outline. Right there like that. Pretty cool, right? Now we're going to go back into our Regent's property fill menu. And we're going to select the designs again. And I'm going to select the number 6. That's what we've been using in every block so far. And then OK, and OK again. And now I'm going to touch the area between where the hoop boundary is and the circle edge right here. There's that. Pretty cool. Now when I select next, you will be able to select the stitches and the settings for each area. So, first we are going to deal with the cross hatching. You can see right here, that's what we're going to use. 100% just like before. 0 on angle. We don't want to change the angle. Not for this design, I'm not going to do that. And I want my outline on. So that's fine. Now I'm going to select see these two little arrows right here. We can scroll through, and each time we touch that, it will highlight a different area and display it right here so we know what we're working on. So now we're going to do the same thing for that number 1 fill, 100%, 0 angle, outline on. That's done. We're going to touch this one more time. Now there's that circle we laid in earlier. Right now it would stitch out a zigzag. I don't want the zigzag. I want to put candle wicking in there because that's a continuity item that will pull the entire block together. All the blocks have some form of candle wicking in them. So I'm now going to just touch the candle wicking icon. That's icon number 4 under line property, and touch OK. And now that is candle wicking. It's selected right there. That's all there is to it. And for this project, I'm not going to touch the candle wicking spacing. Well, the candle wicking, you can actually adjust the size of the candle wicking. You can make it smaller or larger. And here is where you would adjust the space in between the candle wicking. So I'm leaving those at default, and I'm going to hit preview, and then OK. And now you can see the pretty candle wicking stitches. Let me just move this closer here for a moment. You get a real-time view of what that looks like. Okay. Now, I'm going to select Set and OK. And now it's got that all in there together. Now I'm going to change the thread colors to what I'm actually going to stitch it out at. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to touch the first one up here where it says gray, and that's the center. It shows you right up here in this window what we're changing, and I use the same color, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use any color you want, and just because you name it a color here doesn't mean that you have to stitch it out in that color. However, since we're basically only using 2 colors, whenever you change all the colors for the center motif to the same color, it will not pause in between all of those steps because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 different steps. Once those are all the same color, it'll stitch it out without stopping. So gray, I've been using this. You could use anything you want. And now to keep changing, I just touch the next color, the color I want, the next color, the color I want, the next one, and the color I want. That has my center embroidery motif all done. Everything else I'm going to turn white. So the vermilion, which is all the background quilting, I'm just going to set that to white, close enough linen, and black, same color, and hit OK. Now that's all saved. That is ready to stitch out. I'm just going to hit the memory button. I'm not going to. I will for this first one because I've already done it so many times. But this is a good time to save it. Hit your memory button. Save it to your machine or to a thumb drive, or you can send it wirelessly to Palette. Okay? So I'm just going to save it to the machine. And there it is. Anytime I want to pull it back up, I can. It's something I recommend when you're doing a lot of this. Have a dedicated thumb drive in your machine just for your embroidery files when you're doing this, because you can also just save it to a thumb drive instead of right inside of your machine. Totally your choice on that. That one is done. 3 more to go. And this stitched out looks like this. Except that on this one, my pineapple would be up here. So if I just turn it, you can get the idea. Okay? You get a close-up picture, close-up zoom. I really like this one because this really puffs up and kind of looks like trapunto. So I thought that was a really cool design. Love that design. That's an exclusive design inside the Altairs and Meridians. Okay, so I'm going to clear this out and we're going to do we're going to do this one over here next. So that little pineapple up there, what we'll be doing different, everything else will be the same except that each block we're going to rotate that pineapple to there for the next one, down to here for the third one, and over to here for the fourth one. You'll see. So the home key. Okay. Now we'll go back to embroidery. Now, since I saved that center motif already sized down, let's just hit our machine and we'll bypass a few steps this time. Okay. So this is it right here, is what I saved. So I'd already saved one earlier today, right here, and I had the colors changed. So you only have to change the colors on that once. I didn't do it this time because it's good practice for you. Maybe you haven't done that before. Maybe you have. Maybe you need a refresher course. All I know is muscle memory happens when you repeat a step over and over. It's a great way to learn. So, remember cramming in college for all those crazy exams? Yeah, I do. So it's all good. So now before I get started, I don't have to resize it because it's already sized. Right now, I'm just going to go ahead and change these colors to its permanent colors. There's my yellow I've been using, and I'm just going to touch each one and select the same color base. Okay. And then hit OK. That's done. I'm going to save it again. Just so, and this next block I do after I finish this one, I'm going to pull this exact one up because now all I have to do is rotate it. So I'm going to select Edit, Rotate, and I just have to go over this way 90 degrees this time. Check it out. It's in the perfect position right there. That's all there is to it. Once you get that first one saved in there, it's a lot easier to rotate the design. So that's done. Now I'm going to select OK. And I'm going to select my outline, 0.028. Right there, memory, and just send it to IQ. Okay. Now we're going to add our quilting, and we're going to hit IQ. We'll go down here to the Stampin' Pattern. We're going to select our hoop size, 9.5 by 9.5. Okay. There's the red box. Now we're going to select our stamp, our outline. There it is. Now we're going to go back and select our circle. And then we're going to hit size. We're going to size that circle up to 7.25. Oops. There we go. 7.25. And then I'm going to click on OK. And the only reason we can't save this here is because we have to rotate that central outline each time. That's the only reason we cannot save this line here. Okay? So next we're going to turn on our fill bucket. select our region properties menu. We're going to select our decorative fills. Number 1, that's what I've been using. And we're going to touch in between the embroidery outline and the circle outline. And then we're going to touch our region properties icon again. Select. Number 6, cross hatching. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to touch between the circle outline and the hoop outline. Right there. Cool. And now that part's done, we're going to select the next button. And here we're going to use our jog dials and just make sure each one of these areas are set up like we want it. 100%, 0, outline on. Oops, outline on. On is the default setting for that outline on the Altair and Meridian. Now we are going to move to the next area, which is the inner circle fill. 100%, 0, outline on. And now we're going to set our circle to candle wicking. And now we're going to hit the preview. All the 3 areas have been verified and selected. Preview. Okay. And there they are. Now we're going to hit set and OK. And now all I have to do is change my quilting and the candle wicking to the same color, which is white. That's done. Okay, my leg just hit the camera stand, sorry. And that's all set. So then we could save it to memory. And then if you're just going to go ahead and stitch it out, you would just hit your embroidery icon there. That takes you out of embroidery edit and you go into embroidery stitch out. And then you would just lower your presser foot and hit the go button. So if I did that, and it's not going to do it because I don't have a hoop in. Thought I could trick it. You can't. It's too smart. So that one is done. Woohoo! 2 more to go. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hit my home button. That'll clear that design out. And then I'm going to hit embroidery. You got it. This time, remember our shortcut? We're going to hit the machine. And there it is. The last one I saved, all the thread colors already changed. One less step to repeat. Hit set. And now we're going to rotate because it's already been sized. So we want the pineapple this time to point down. So we go rotate and hit the 90-degree button twice. That brings it all the way down here to the bottom. Okay. Select OK. And now we're going to add our outline to it. And that number is 0.028. It's what we've used throughout, or what I've used throughout anyway. Right there. Memory. Just send it to the IQ Designer stamp pattern list. Okay. And now we're going to add our quilting. And we're going to touch IQ. And then we're going to go to the stamp pattern icon, hoop icon, 9.5 by 9.5, and then OK. Then we're going to go back to the stamp pattern icon. There we go. The outline. There's our last one. There's a little pineapple pointed down towards 6 o'clock. Okay. And there we go. One more time back into the stamp pattern menu and the circle and OK. And now we're going to enlarge it by hitting the size button. We're going to go up to, it says 6.41 by 6.41 is the default size of that. And we're going to move that up to 7.25 by 7.25. I always overshoot it a little bit, it seems like. There we go. 7.25 by 7.25. The important thing, this number should be the same, that circle, on all four of these blocks to make it match. Okay, so that's done. Now we'll select OK. And now we're going to turn on our fill bucket for region properties. And we're going to hit the region's property settings menu. And now we'll select this third icon for the decorative fill. And then select again. Number 1's automatically highlighted. And that's what we want first. OK. And OK again. Now you could do this in any order when doing these fills. I just did in a specific order so I'd be able to remember it. And I like to start in the center myself and work the way out. So I'm going to touch it right inside of here, right in between the outline of the embroidery and the circle outline. That looks good. Now we're going to select the region fill property icon again, a region property icon, and select. And we're going to select number 6 and OK. And then we're going to hit OK again. And we're going to touch our stylus or your finger. You can do your finger too. Watch right there. Easy peasy. And now we're ready to fine tune it by selecting next. And 100% for the sizing, 0 on angle, outline on. Use the jog arrows to go to the next area, which is this. You can see up there and here. 100% 0 on. Jog arrow. Now the circle. So it selected, I'm going to change it from zigzag to candle wicking. And OK. And that's all there is to it. Hit the preview button. OK. Some of the other machines may say next right there. Altair Meridian, it says preview. Then we're going to hit select, set, and OK. Now we just have to change those 2 thread colors. So the vermilion, which is all the quilting, red. The black candle wicking, going to white also. So I just like my background, and for this block I wanted the background and the candle wicking. I wanted the extra texture there for that candle wicking. And by making it the same color as the quilting stitches, it really helped it to blend and not pop out as much for that texture. So now I'm going to select OK. And it's ready to stitch out. I could save it to memory or just send it over to the embroidery stitch out screen. One more to go. That's number 3. Excuse me. Hit the home button and OK. Embroidery. Our shortcut to the machine. Here's this file right up here that we're going to use. I've already changed the colors previously. Set. And now I want to rotate it so that this, first it was at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Now we want 9 o'clock, so we're going to rotate it. And this time I'm going to just rotate it 1 time to the left. Oops, where'd it go? There we go. There's my little pineapple pointing to the left. So this is block LC, left C. Yes, the one before that, Dory, was bottom center. And then over here was RC, right center. Up here was TC, top center. So the files I've uploaded, they're all named inside of those PES files that I uploaded as well. So, and just remember that little pineapple, if it's at 12 o'clock, that is top center. At 3 o'clock, that will be right center. When it's down here at 6 o'clock, that's bottom center. And the one we're doing now, pointing over here to the left, that is left center. Okay, so we have that. Now we're going to hit on OK. We're going to add our outline. I've been using 0.028 all the way through. We're going to keep it going. Here we go. 0.028. Memory. Just send it to IQ. And now we are going to add our quilting from IQ. Click on the IQ designer icon. First add, then IQ. We're in IQ. Now we're going to hit the stamp and pattern icon, the hoop icon, 9.5 by 9.5, and then OK. Then you'll see the red box. That's how you know that step's done and you can move forward. We're going to touch the stamp pattern icon again. And then we're going to select our outline. Here it is. There it is, pointing over there at 9 o'clock, so that's left center. You can see this one. There's the pineapple pointing to the bottom. That's BC, bottom center. Here's the one pointing at 3 o'clock, so that's right center. And this one here was pointing up at 12 o'clock, so that is top center. That's the one we want. And now we're going to go back to the stamp pattern menu again and add our circle. And then we're going to enlarge it to 7.25. Touch the size button. The 4 arrows coming out from the center. .25 by 7.25. And now we're ready to add our quilting. So we're going to touch the fill bucket for region property and the region properties icon. Icon number 3 in this row, decorative fill pattern, select, number 1, and OK, and OK again. This goes in between the embroidery outline and the circle outline. And then we're going to touch our region property icon again and select number 6, the cross hatching, and OK. OK again. Then we're going to touch in between the circle outline and the hoop outline, right there. And then we're going to hit next. And by using this style here, we'll jog through the 3 areas. So this is the crosshatch, 100%, 0 angle, outline on. That's what we want. And this one, which is the inner circle decorative fill, we have our 100%, 0 angle, outline on. We want to go to the right one more time. Now there's our circle. We're going to change this from zigzag to candle wicking, and OK. And then we can hit the preview button, and OK. OK. Now the set button, and OK. Now we just have to change these 2 colors here. Those are both of our backgrounds, our background and candle wicking. I'm using white. I mean, even though I selected white, I could put tan in there if I wanted to. You just want the colors grouped together. so that it stitches out without stopping for each separate step. Then hit OK. And that's all there is to it.